Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
For all of the media joining us virtually today, please remember to click the raise hand function if you have a question. Thank you. We are now being joined by Cris Cyborg. We'll begin with a few questions from the media. Steve, your line is now live.
Cris, thank you for the time today. And my first question for you is, it's obviously been a long time since January. How has your training progressed during the pandemic, and how are you feeling for this fight? All right, and what do you think of Arlene Blencowe as an opponent? She's coming in on 3 straight wins. How do you feel about her?
Jay, go ahead.
Hey, thanks very much. Cris, going into your first title defense, how does it feel to have an actual division around you and, opponents who have built up win streaks rather than just fighters brought in here and there, maybe from another weight class like the UFC did? And how important is that to your legacy?
For me, I always think in my mind, I'm number contender one always. I'm going to fight to get my title, and I always think this way. I think this way motivate me every time, every morning when I wake up, and I don't push too much pressure on me, and I think the pressure I put in the gym every day and be prepared for the day to fight.
You were keeping an eye on Sinead Kavanagh on her fight. She mentioned that she saw your name pop up in the YouTube prelims. Is that something you do? Have you been kind of scouting the rest of the division in Bellator?
I like to watch all the fights, and that make me very happy. Bellator have the full division, a lot of girls in my division. You just have to keep your eye on the end and keep training.
Giancarlo?
Hi, Cris. I guess to follow up on that question, what have you seen out of the other women's fighters in Bellator?
No, the one thing that makes me really happy is the real 145 pound. I always fight for this. I always, the beginning of my career is I always believe in the 145 division, and it makes me very happy. Scott Coker is signing all the girls 145, and you're going to be great division, going to be great fights.
And I guess final question for me. Scott Coker has been open to working with other promotions, like we saw with Ryzen back in December. Is there a fight that you'd like to do over there? Like, is there an opponent there that would interest you?
This is very cool. I think I have a dream fight in Japan. I never have the opportunity to fight in Japan, and they opened the fight, girls fight over there in like a couple of years. And for me, if I have the opportunity over there, for sure, this is one thing very nice Bellator does with another show. This is make the best fight, promote can do. Doesn't matter where it's at. This is very cool.
Gareth, go ahead.
Hi, Cris. How are you doing from London?
I'm great. Thank you.
Good. One shouldn't mention a lady's age, but you're 35. I think you can do it when someone's a fighter. Does it motivate you more that you're a target for everybody out there?
For me, I think I'm very stubborn, like for learning every day. And even if I win for a long time, I always like to learn if I get improve my game. And for me, I feel very blessed and be where I'm at, but it's a lot hard work. It's not just something happened the one day, but, a couple of years of working really hard and training, and just motivate to keep improve my game.
When I spoke to Scott Coker last time, and I spoke to him about this in Paris as well last weekend, they are open to you crossing over for a fight with Katie Taylor as well. Does that fire burn in you to go and have a boxing match with a big world champion in boxing?
For now, I'm focusing on Arlene Blencowe, but everybody knows my dream. I would like to do an unboxing fight, and I never choose my opponent. I'm gonna let it for my manager and Scott Coker decide this. But for me, I was gonna keep training. But for sure, Thursday, Arlene Blencowe first.
John Eric.
Hi, Chris. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, Chris. So I know you're not looking past Arlene, but I wanted to just ask you a little bit about Julia Budd and Kat Zingano. They both had wins recently. Just what were your thoughts on them and what they've done recently?
No, I watched the fight. I think, Julia did great. She's got the win. And, Kat Zingano for a long time, she's the last fight she had, she's long time no fight. The last time she didn't have the opportunity to fight too much because they have a kick in the eyes. But I'm happy that she's coming back and fighting, and she's a great opponent for Julia Budd.
Donna, go ahead.
Hi, Chris. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. I heard you talking about the potential of doing a boxing fight. I know you're very focused on Thursday night's bout, but has there ever been any discussions between your team and Eddie Hearn about potentially fighting Katie Taylor?
For now, I think we didn't talk to him, but I think maybe Scott Coker talked to him. But I always let these things, my manager, Adi Attar, talk to decide what's the next. But really, guys, I really would like you guys asking for me about Arlene Blencowe, about my next fight, because I'm really going to answer about Arlene Blencowe. But for sure, it's my dream doing the boxing fight. If it be Katie Taylor, the next one, it's going to be great. But for Fox, now Arlene Blencowe. I have to do one step each time.
Okay, speaking of Arlene Blencowe and the division as a whole, do you believe that you are in the best 145-pound division in the world?
I know it's all the girls 145 pounds. I don't see another organization have all the 145 pounds. Maybe have 2 or 3, but here we have in Bellator all the girls.
You're a big favorite against Arlene Blencowe. What have you been seeing in her game that makes you? What are you seeing in her game that you need to nullify to be able to get the win and defend your title for the first time?
No, I watched a couple fights of her. She's tough, and she likes to strike. She's have 2 times world champion boxing, and but it's MMA, mixed martial arts, and this is I like to do the mixed martial arts. It's gonna be a great fight.
Sorry for the technical difficulties on Steve Jewin's question. Steve, would you mind asking again?
Sure. My first question for Chris was how the pandemic affected her training.
I need the answer again.
Yeah, because we
didn't
work at first.
For me, the beginners are very hard because I was doing my camps in South Africa too, and then I have the opportunity to go to South Africa. But I knew after Julia Budd, I would like to be focusing in boxing training. And I was really training boxing because I was thinking going to be the next boxing fight. But the pandemic delayed a little bit. But I knew I was going to fight MMA in October. I start training in Kings MMA. It's like 2 miles from my house. And over there, I have every week have a lot of fighters have a fight, and we continue training over there. And of course, you everybody get a test to get it clear for be safe and train. But I will keep training.
Thank you, Chris. And sorry you have to answer these twice. The other one that I asked was if you think Arlene Blencowe is a really tough opponent coming in off 3 straight wins.
I think she's deserved to fight for the title. She's coming to good wins. And I believe if Scott Coker puts his fight with me, for sure it's a great match.
Santiago.
Hi, Chris. Greetings from Amsterdam. You've had such a beautiful career thus far, and when I see you fight, I can clearly see the best Cyborg is yet to come. Like, you are improving every fight. I really love that. The fans really want to see you fight against Kayla Harris. Is that a fight that you want to do in Bellator somewhere down the line?
I never choose my opponents. I always like to try be ready for everyone, and especially for now, we have to train and improve our game and be ready for anybody. All whole my career, I never choose my opponent. I always be ready and say yes.
Dan?
You can hear me all right?
Yes.
Hello?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. Chris, how would you compare your professional happiness in Bellator compared to some of your more recent stints in other organizations, and how much perhaps does your relationship with Scott help?
The first thing, I think people can see how happy I am. I think people can see when follow me how happy being with Bellator. The first thing for me, I really, the first thing in my life is respect, and respect and be healthy relationship with people around you. And work with Scott Coker in Bellator, for me, it is very nice. I worked with him before at the Strike Force. And when I start to work in Bellator, the first time I see everybody says, Cris, welcome home. Because, the most people here work in Bellator, work before in Strike Force. And I'm really happy to be here. People can see every day, how happy I am, and very excited and motivated to do every fight here.
Do you sense they value you more as a person and as a competitor than just another cog in the machine?
I feel like Scott Coker he's really appreciate every fighter. You didn't see him blame any fighter in the media. You don't see that. You don't see that and then try damage the brand fighters. It's a partnership. Both to work together. And this is the thing. If the fighters don't fight, the event don't happen. And because this is me with a partner, and it's very nice to work with Scott Coker. He knows this and he works very professionally.
Thank you.
Mark?
Thank you. Cris, the last couple of fights that you've had over the past couple of years, you went past the second round. You went to the later rounds as well. There was an expectation early on in your career that you would finish early. Can you tell me a little bit about, the idea of the division maybe catching up to you a little bit more, and that part of your game, the ability to go into the later rounds and to be able to train for that?
I don't know if I understand her question.
Your durability and the way you're able to go longer in fights.
Usually every fight I always train for 6 rounds, and the whole my career I always fight for defend the title, and for the title, if you think about it, I always the most fight in my career, I do 5 rounds in 5 minutes. I know the fights finish early, but I always prepare for 5 rounds. Usually I do 6 rounds or 7 rounds every time, for be prepared for every round and do better. And the one thing I have it's from me, genetic thing. When I start training, I'm getting better each round, better and better.
Yeah, and to follow up on that, the other part of the question was, do you feel that a lot of these fighters are starting to get a lot better and challenge you a little bit more inside the cage?
I respect all my opponents, and I know almost MMA, it's a new sport, but now it started a lot of explosion everywhere. But the girls getting better, and you can see a lot of young kids training mixed martial arts, everything, and they just make me happy to see everyone training. You can see the girls fight and getting excited and show a lot of improvement. And yes, this is very cool, and it's just gonna get better.
Gareth?
Yes, just carrying on that question, Cris, it's sad we haven't had a female journalist on the call yet. I hope we do. But you've been around 15 years in the sport. Is the interest now so much greater in women's MMA than you have ever known?
I feel very blessed to be here this moment, because I know when I started the beginning of my career, start training, don't have a lot of girls, don't have event, then really would like to put the girls fighting. But I always believe, I was training for maybe one day I can have the opportunity to fight on a big event. And for now, you can see the people love to watch women's MMA, and this moment I can fight. I feel very blessed this opportunity, and I know after me is gonna have more and more, and they're gonna grow and grow. It's just make me really happy to be part of this story.
Do you think women get enough respect from largely a male audience and male journalists as well?
Yes, I believe you get respect. I think each time you get more respect if you see when you see the nice fights the girls put together. And I believe the beginner we don't have the opportunity, but after we have the opportunity, we start show up and show the girls can fight. Now, now it's not about no respect. They don't have the opportunity.
We have time for a couple more. Nadira?
Hi, Chris. Big fan. I think you look beautiful.
Thank you.
As one of the most accomplished MMA athletes and champions of our time, how do you find yourself navigating continuously putting on these spectacular and dominant performances and also managing risk to make sure you come out as the winner?
You know, I really love my job. You know, I think the first thing I feel like when you love your job, you dedicate more you can. And I wake up in the morning ever happy, and I do my training every day. I try to do most training I can. You know, I want to train more than my opponent. This is motivating me every morning, and of course all the love to my fans, and you know, step in the octagon and show, you know, hope for everyone, and see how hard it you get something. But you feel if you continue discipline and training and believe yourself, have faith, for sure you're gonna get your blast. Just have to continue work hard.
Giancarlo?
Chris, just also to follow up on one of the previous questions, you're one of the most dominant fighters like in the sport. Now with CBS Sports being involved with Bellator and the events showing there, how do you hope women's MMA will be, I guess, broadcasted or covered now that it's on CBS Sports?
I feel very honored to have the opportunity to open, you know, the first event at the CBS network, Sport Network, and I'm happy, you know, for doing my. I just gonna do what I do always, you know, do my best and make the people happy to watch it and make people excited and be the best Thursday night with Bellator.
Our last question comes from Lenny March.
How's it going, Chris? How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, so in this interview, a lot of people have talked about you going over to boxing and getting fighting Katie Taylor, but recently you've said that you would like to get the cross-promotion fight with Amanda Nunes. Is that maybe a possibility in the future of cross-promotion between the Bellator and UFC?
You know, the first thing when I talked to Scott Coker, I knew he can cross over, it can put Bellator fight to another event, and this is very cool. And then when I was over there, I was then don't have the opportunity to give it the rematch. They want to give it the rematch. Maybe in the future, I think the best promoter is to make the best fight that the fans would like to watch. And I talked to Scott Cook and I said, Chris, I'm open for do that. And let's see the other side would like to do. And just waiting, you know, and see what's going to be the next for me. I just have to keep work hard and train and wait, see.
Yep, I don't want to keep you too long. Good luck this Thursday.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you for the time, Chris. Appreciate it. Good luck
Welcome.
the rest of the week.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Be joined shortly by Ricky Bandejas.
We done? We'll have more things.
Two phone calls.
We are now being joined by Ricky Bandejas. We'll begin with a few questions from the media. Connor, your line is now live.
Hey, Ricky, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good, good. Thanks for asking. Yeah, just if you look at your time in Bellator so far, I mean, your only losses come to guys that are either rumored to fight for the title, hold the title, or lost that title. So what do you feel like, where do you feel like you kind of stand in this division currently?
It looks like we get so close, and every time to make the next step, level up, we seem to be losing. So I'm hoping Thursday we get the win and we come full circle and redeem all those losses.
Yeah. And Bellator obviously just added Brett Johns, and, you add that to, the guys are already there. Obviously, Gallagher had a win last weekend, but you have Archuleta, Mix, Pettis, the guys I mentioned before. How do you feel like the Bellator bantamweight division kind of compares to some of the other bantamweight divisions out there?
I think it's stacked, man. They signed so many prospects and so many guys for the last year or two, and guys with 0 losses, 1 loss, and I can't wait to mix it up with all of them and see where I stand.
Steve Jewin.
All right, Ricky, thank you for the time as always. Sergio Pettis has already been mentioned, and is that a fight that you want to get back at some point?
Absolutely. Him, Archuleta, and Mix, I'd love to get back in there and redeem those losses.
Do you feel like you might have an edge against Archuleta in a title shot, knowing that you've already had some experience with him?
Yeah, I think it helps. He fights different. His style's not easily matched with all his movements. So I think next time it would help a little bit more getting in there.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris. Chris, your line is now live. All right, we'll move on to Donna here.
Hi, Ricky. How's it?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, well, we just lost Chris. We'll get back to him in a minute. But hey, Ricky, Donna Corby here. I just wanted to ask, Leandro Higo is an interesting one. I mean, you fought people who most pundits would say are quote unquote better. I mean, but he's certainly one of the trickier opponents you've faced. What exactly are you expecting going into the cage with him on Thursday?
He seems to be more of a veteran. He has a lot of fights. He's been in there with the best. Just a tough fight, don't give him any opportunities to take, and just go out there and fight hard.
Obviously, there are things that get in the way of making certain matchups. Do you think that eventually this matchup with Brian Moore that's been talked about is going to happen for you regardless of the result this week?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I know he's up to, I think he won his last fight. I know he's up to fighting. I'm down to fight, granted circumstances and just the way Bellator, worked out. I'm sure me and him will mix it up.
What did you think of James Gallagher's performance the other week?
He did good, man. He went out there in a fight that people questioned him on, and he actually finished the guy. So good for him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go back to Chris here. Chris.
Hi, Ricky. Thanks for the time today.
Thank you. How you doing?
Pretty good. So my first question for you is, bantamweight is like a real Shark Tank right now. We have Brett Johns. We have all these other guys, Sergio Pettis, as you fought in your last fight. But out of all of your other fight, or out of all the fights in the bantamweight division, who's the toughest fight, the Shark Tank that is the bantamweight division?
You mean that I fought or that is in the division?
Oh, that is in the division.
There's a lot of guys, like you said, Brett Johns. There's a Ruffian Stouts, there's the guy Josh Hill, guys with great records. They haven't really lost much, so you got to put them at the top.
Carlos. Carlos, your line is now live. All right, we'll move on to Jay Anderson. Jay, your line is live.
Hey, thanks very much. And Ricky, just a quick one for me. I mean, Leandro has been talking about how he actually wanted to fight James Gallagher. He had a fight with him that fell through, and that's a guy you beat. Do you feel that he's overlooking at you all heading into this?
I don't know. I don't put much thought in it. If he is, that's his mistake, and we'll find out Thursday.
Fair enough. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Giancarlo, your line is now live.
Hi, Ricky. You fought under these circumstances with no fans back in July in your last fight. What was that experience like? Did you notice anything different in the way you performed, or was it like mental preparation?
I didn't think it was, going to be an issue or change anything, but you definitely just have to dig deep, hit the switch yourself more. You don't have the crowd to pump you up, or it kind of feels like a sparring session. So this fight, I'm really planning on, understanding that.
And does that give you like some sort of advantage? Like you're coming into this, you already have a feel for things of how it was. Do you think that will serve you better in this fight?
It depends on the person, he might just show up and be a gamer. A lot of fighters don't seem to have a problem with it. So that depends on him.
Santiago.
Ricky, greetings from Amsterdam. You have already been to Europe and beat France and Lambo there. Did you like it here? And are we going to see you fight here more in the future?
I'm sorry? Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so you have already been to Europe and beat France and Lambo here. Did you like it in Europe? And are we going to see you fight more often in the future here?
Yeah, I would love to, granted, I think they had a couple shows, but the whole Corona thing happened. So I hope that in the future to get out there and mix it up.
Good luck on fight night, sir.
Thank you.
Lenny, your line is now live.
How's it going, Ricky? How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good. So someone just mentioned Corona, and it came to my mind. How has it been like training with Corona? Is that kind of restrict you in any way?
Last camp a little bit, because it was fresh, but now America Top Team, they have a good system running, and they're doing real well, allowing all the fighters to mix it up and get in there.
Yeah, that's perfect. Just one more for me. So Bellator have made a lot of signings. Someone kind of said this earlier, that Brett Johns, he's now a new talent in your division. What do you make of him, and what do you think he can do in the division?
What Brett Johns can do?
Yes.
I think he can do real well. I believe he only has a loss or so. And,
2 losses, yeah.
I think he's going to do, mix up well with everybody.
Brilliant. Thank you. Good luck this Thursday.
Thank you.
We'll take a few more questions here. Ben Allen.
Hi, Ricky. So we've spoken about potentially facing Brian Moore down the line, which would be a hell of a firefight. And after already claiming the scouts of James Gallagher and Franz Malambo, do you take any particular pleasure in breaking Irish hearts over at SPG?
Nothing personal. I do like to see, the feedback online. It seems like a lot of people enjoy me beating up the SPG guys. So if that's what they want to see, that's what, I'll give them.
And obviously, James Gallagher's still got a big name since you beat him, and he's picked up a few good wins since, got a bit of a buzz around him. Would you be interested in granting him the opportunity to get that one back, or have you moved past that matchup?
I'm sorry?
With Gallagher, James Gallagher getting a few good wins since your fight, would you be interested in a rematch with him at any point?
Yeah, absolutely. I would, if that's what Bellator wants, if he wants to mix it up, I have no problem getting out there and doing it.
Just one more from me. I've seen from your Instagram you're going to become a father again to another little girl. Why is it that all these stone cold killers always seem to just produce girls?
I don't know, man, but I wouldn't have mind, 4 girls, that's a lot.
Luis Morales.
Hi, you're facing an experienced fighter in Leandro Higo, a former Ultimate Fighter contestant. He was the LFA champion. What do you feel is the biggest challenge of facing Leandro?
He looks like he's calm when he fights, and he can finish the fight anywhere on the feet or on the ground. So you just can't give him, make a mistake for him to capitalize on.
You're expecting a win, obviously, not rushing that. So what would be next for you with that win?
Anything, whatever. One of the top guys. I see they sign all these guys, top prospects, and Bellator, the bantamweight division's got a lot of them, so anybody.
We have time for just a couple more here. Trevor, go ahead.
Hey, Ricky, just looking into this whole pandemic and what's gone on, is there any takeaways you get, or has anything changed during this pandemic?
No, nothing really changed. Just the fact you don't fight in front of the crowd. Other than that, training and everything's been going like normal.
And do you feel that the crowd is momentum for you at all, or no, you don't look at it like that? Is it just, you're putting your game plan, into practice?
I thought before it wouldn't have an effect or play into my game, but after last fight, I realized, it definitely gives me a boost.
Our final question comes from the line of Carlos Ortiz. Go ahead, Carlos.
How has your training changed since coming from Jersey to Florida?
A lot more coaches, for brains to pick, a lot more guys to mix it up. You have all kinds of styles. So just the diversity is a lot more than Jersey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for the time, Ricky.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
We are now being joined by Saad Awad. We'll begin with a few questions. Steve Jewin, your line is now live.
Saad, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. We've had many opportunities in the past, and I'm grateful that you're here and on this card. But how frustrated are you after being in Bellator for over a decade to currently be on a 4-fight losing streak?
Is that a question you really need to ask me? I mean, how frustrating do you think it is? I mean, it's always frustrating to lose one fight. Shit, let alone two. But to lose 4, fuck, man, it's definitely frustrating. But it's not something that I thought about this camp. I just, I always try to take one fight at a time, whether I'm winning or losing, on a winning or losing streak. So, I just got to go out there and perform and not put that pressure of being on a losing streak in my head. So that's something, like I said, I try not to think about. And just go out there and perform like I know how to perform and get back on a winning streak after I win.
Well, speaking of those camps, obviously things have changed a lot since we saw you twice in October last year. So what's the training like for you now?
Honestly, it's been the same, man. I mean, right when COVID hit, I was training before COVID hit because I was supposed to fight back in May. So I was getting ready for a fight in May, and then COVID hit, and so the cards got canceled. Everything got shut down, and I continued training at my house, just strength conditioning. And then my coach called all of us, said, listen, I'm opening the gym just for the pros. So we still trained, you know what I mean? We still trained, we got ready, and then supposed to fight last month, and like a month and a half ago, and then I caught like a viral pink eye, and it lasted like 2 weeks. So they pulled me from the card, and then right away I jumped right back into camp, and now I'm here.
All right, one last thing from me. What do you think of Mandel Nallo as an opponent on Thursday?
I think he's a good-looking guy. I think he's tall, he's handsome. Yeah, that's what I think.
Donna? Donna, your line is now live. Okay, we'll go on to Mark. Mark, your line is now live.
Hi, Syed. My question for you is, in 2019, 2018, you were a very active fighter. Was this pandemic almost a blessing in disguise for you that you got to get some months away from the cage, or would you have rather preferred to?
No, man, I have ADD, man. I go 100 miles per hour with whatever I'm doing. If I'm at home, I'm doing a million things at home. I like to be active. I'm not a guy that's gonna sit on his couch and just let time go by. I'm fortunate enough I've been fighting for so long that, my kids, I train and I'm home with my kids. I don't have a 9 to 5, so I don't spend, 8 hours at a job. I do spend hours at the gym, but not 8 hours continuously. I'll go, come home. So, I get to spend time with my kids. So the only blessing I got out of the pandemic is, I spent a little bit more time, at home with the kids. I got to watch them grow. But fight wise, no, man, I want to be active, man. I want to fight as much as I can. I'm getting older, and I want to, definitely fight out, until I can't fight anymore, until I, move on to something else. So really, I'm not happy about it, but, the world kind of got put on standstill, and it is what it is.
Thank you. And going into this one this weekend, your opponent is not like the usual guy you're used to. He's really young in promotion, and do you feel almost like weird that you're being matched up with him, or?
No, because it's part of it. It's part of matchmaking. You get these young guys that have a little bit of hype behind them. They come from a good gym, and then you have the guys that are veterans like me that you're like, okay, let's see if the hype matches up, and you throw them against a guy like me, and then if he wins, then it does, and if he doesn't, then it shows that he wasn't ready yet, and obviously he has a lot of talent, and he's definitely going to do good in his career, but this fight's gonna it's gonna be like a make or break for him, I believe. Not even a make or break, you know what I mean? God forbid, any of us get hurt, but I think I'm definitely gonna stop that hype train that is behind him. He's a good kid, but he has to fight me now.
Donna?
Sorry about the technical difficulties there earlier. In terms of the welterweight sort of division or the divisions you find yourselves in, what do you make of the landscape of welterweight in Bellator at the moment?
Well, I'm fighting lightweight this fight. My last fight.
Lightweight.
Oh, okay. I mean, the belt's being held by a 45-pounder. He's really good. I take nothing from him.
And he's locked up in another competition.
Yeah, exactly. So I think once I win this fight, I'm gonna ask for whoever's the top 2 guys, because I want to get right back in there. You know what I mean? I don't know how much time I have left in the sport. I know I have a couple more years, but sometimes you fight once a year. Sometimes you fight 3-4 times a year. So however many times I need to fight to get back on that, back in that conversation, I still believe I'm, one of the best in Bellator, and I just got to go out there and prove it. And then once I do, then, hopefully the divisions open back up and, that belt's on the line again.
I have 2 more, if you don't mind. One is, did you have any trepidation about coming back and fighting during the situation we're in at the moment? I know that cases are back on the up and things like that. Were you in any way concerned about getting back in the cage?
Not at all, man. If you live in fear, you'll never be able to accomplish anything. You know what I mean? No matter what's going on. And that's one thing I don't do. I don't live in fear, no matter what's going on, no matter how bad the situation is for anybody. I mean, I still wake up every day. I still have my coffee. I kiss my babies, and I go about my day. Whether there's a pandemic outside or whether everything's open. So I don't live in fear, no matter what's going on, and I will never let something control me.
Maybe this question's been touched on before, but do you feel that this fight is make or break for you in the promotion?
I mean, it's up to the promotion. You know what I mean? I feel like I put my neck out there whenever they needed me. I never turned down the fight. I fought, I broke my ankle 2 weeks before one of my fights. This is 3 fights ago. I literally broke my ankle, bone in my ankle, and I still fought. I cut the top of my foot 5 days out before I fought Gertz, and I got stitches, but I had them put them in the inside, and I glued the top of my foot just so nobody would see it. I still fought. When I fought Benson Henderson, I tweaked my back really bad. I couldn't get off the stool when they called my name to go stage. I couldn't get off the stool. They were like, "Dude, what's wrong with you?" I was like, "My back's I heard it before this fight." So I got up. I was like an old man, but I still went out there and I fought. And I put my lineup, myself out there plenty of times. And I don't plan on losing regardless. So when I win, I plan on staying with Bellator and making my run back for the title. And we'll see how it goes.
Thank you.
Lenny?
Hi, Saad. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Before this fight, you said you envisioned an early round KO or even a 3-round war with your opponent. What type of Saad Awad can we expect to walk into the Bellator cage this weekend?
I mean, I feel like you guys always get the same one. You know what I mean? I always fight, go out there and fight the way I know how to fight, unless my opponent runs from me. Whenever I was in, times I was in boring fights, it was either my opponent tried to wrestle me and I just, was scrambling or whatever. And then, or, that my opponent ran from me and, made it a boring fight. So I don't see Mandel running from me at all. He likes to come forward. I like to come forward. And I know his ground game's, pretty slick. So who knows? He might come and try to wrestle me and make it an interesting fight. And if so, I feel like my ground game's, pretty solid. My wrestling scrambles are really good. So I think I'll make it a 3-round war if that happens. If not, I think I can catch him, and I'm sure I'm going to have to take one and give one. So you guys can see a good fight.
Yeah. So while we're talking about the previous fights, what have you kind of learned from your previous losses?
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's, there's little things, I'm pretty aggressive in some of my fights. Like when I fought Gertz, I kind of thought I won that fight, and I was aggressive. I was controlling the whole round. I did get dropped, but I came back and I still feel like I won the round. I'm like, what else could I do besides go out there and, finish them? Fortunately, it's kind of hard to finish somebody that's backpedaling, but I take nothing from Gertz. He's a great guy. He's a great fighter. But I feel like, like I thought I won that fight, but I just know I got to kind of put my foot on the gas pedal a little bit more in some of these fights, because it's kind of hard to win a decision these days when people kind of point fight.
Rick Sanchez.
How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. My question is, what's your motivation going through after those 4 losses, and now you're getting yourself to fight again? So what is like your motivation going through this again to fight this card?
I'll be honest with you, man. I've been doing this so long. I don't need a loss to motivate me more. If I wasn't already motivated to train as hard as I could possibly train, then you're in the wrong sport, man. Because if you didn't train as hard as you could, you go into the ring with doubts in your mind, and you go in the ring with doubts in mind, you're screwed. You know what I mean? Because once that cardio kicks in, you get tired and you start playing tricks in your head, and you're like, I wasn't ready because I didn't train hard enough. So that's not one thing I do. I train extremely hard, whether I'm on a 4-fight losing streak or a 4-fight winning streak. So the only different thing I made this camp or this past year that has changed since I was on my winning streak is I'm back with my head coach. My head coach, they've known me since I was a kid, and I was on my winning streak with them. And then I kind of steered away and, kind of got, lost a couple of fights. But, I'm back with him doing my striking, my jiu-jitsu, my wrestling. But I'm still doing my conditioning with the training lab where they really excelled me with my conditioning. So I feel like you're going to get the best of me this fight.
Our final question comes from the line of Luis Morales. Go ahead, Luis.
So, Saad, there is no secret on your losing streak, but also no shame in that. You lost to Benson Henderson and Paul Daly. For this one, you're the more experienced fighter. So what's different entering this fight?
Just my experience. I mean, a difference between me and him, I believe, is my experience. I believe I'm more well-rounded. The kid's gonna come to fight. He's a great striker. He hides a lot of his stuff. He's good on the ground. So I think it's gonna be a great fight. And hopefully my experience pulls me through and I get the win.
All right. Thank you very much for the time, Saad. Good luck the rest of the week.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
We are now being joined by Patricky Pitbull. Begin with a few questions from the media. Steve, your line is now live.
Patricky, thank you for always coming to chat with us for these Bellator fights. And with Jaleel Willis, he's got 4 decisions in his last 4 fights. In your last 5 Bellator fights, you've got 3 knockouts. So is he really ready to stand and trade with a power striker like you?
Só não entendi a parte final.
Ele está perguntando a parte final. Ele perguntou se você acha que ele está preparado para ficar em pé e trocar com você.
I don't know if he know he's prepared to stay with me stand up, but I know about me. I'm ready to stay. I'm ready to beat. I'm ready to kick. I'm ready to take him down. I'm ready to make my jiu-jitsu. I'm ready to all. I don't care about him. I know about me.
All right. And with you having not lost a fight in Bellator in the last 3 years, are you on the cusp now of a title shot with another win, or is that a little awkward since your brother is the champ?
Como você já ganhou três vezes já, ou tipo essas outras lutas?
3 anos sem
3
perder.
anos seguidos. Se você vai, tipo, você já está preparado para lutar para o cinturão? E como é que você sente que seu irmão é o campeão, né?
I'm ready for the fight I'm ready to fight for the belt for a long time, but I have just one opportunity to fight for the belt. 12 days before the fight, I'm substitute the opponent and going, but it's no excuse. So I'm very happy about my brother with the belt, but he wanna see me with the belt too, because I'm the brother, his brother. So he wanna change the belt to my hands, and I wanna the belt. I'm fight for the belt. All guys from MMA wanna fight for the belt. All guys wanna this opportunity. So I want my second opportunity, with time to train like a champ, with time to train hard, to take the belt and get the belt.
Jay Anderson.
Thanks very much. And Patricky, Alan Omer actually called you and your brother out after his win at Bellator 248. And this is kind of a pattern. You seem to get called out a lot. So does your brother. What's your reaction to Alan's call out of you? And is it just a sign that, you know, you're at the pinnacle of the sport at this point?
I'm very happy because I saw when he finished Rice Cup, but I don't know. I first him the first time now. I don't know him. It's a good fight to me. If he wanna try finish me, he say he will finish me, but he wanna try. He talk about the fight with Rice Cup, but it's good. It's good to saw this fight. He think about this fight. He say the shit about this fight, but I fought with one arm, just one left arm. I can beat he with him the right hand or the both hands. If he tried to finish me, I will finish him before he think about finish me.
And just one more for me. I mean, you've got a long history with Michael Chandler. He left the promotion recently. Is it disappointing at all not to have a chance to face him again in the cage?
No, is his life. I don't care his life. I don't like him. He don't like me. My brother don't like him. He don't like my brother. Fuck him. I don't care about him. He go out to the Bellator, and the life change all time. One day I can eat, another day I can don't eat. I don't care. I life for Tuesday. Tuesday is my day. Is my new job.
Donna, go ahead.
Patricky, how's it going? I heard, or I know that you were supposed to fight Peter Queally about a week ago in the world before COVID. Are you disappointed that you won't get to face Queally for the foreseeable future?
Yes, for sure, because I know I will beat him easy from the Irish France.
Do you think eventually you will get your chance to fight Peter, though?
I wait for him anytime.
Last one from me. Talk to me a little bit about Jaleel Willis. How much have you seen of him, and what exactly impresses you, or do you see as weaknesses in his game?
He has a game little same with Peter Queally because he like to kick, he like to fight for decision, and he's a tall guy, and I'm the same. I'm here to finish. Everybody know, I king of KO. I'm the king of the organization KO. I will finish. I will try all time finish my opponents. I don't care about my opponent. I just try to finish, to kill everybody. Doesn't matter who the next.
Luis?
Now you return to Bellator after 3 fights in Japan. How do you feel in this return, and how important is return to the winner cycle in this fight?
E falando que agora que você voltou aqui pro Bellator, porque a sua última luta foi lá no Japão, como é que você está se sentindo e voltando para ganhar na sua casa?
Yes, I'm very excited to back here to my house, Bellator. I'm very excited. I'm very happy, and it's like the first fight. I'm very excited, so I'm very happy too, and I wanna work more. The Bellator know I love fight. I don't care when or where. I just wanna fight.
Our final question comes from the line of Carlos Ortiz. Go ahead, Carlos.
How has the pandemic affected your training? And is your training partner Henry going to fight again?
Ele perguntou como é que essa pandemia está afetando seu treinamento e se Henry vai lutar de novo.
Se quem? Cerrudo? I don't know about my friend. Maybe he wanna fight again. After the fight, I don't see him, but I don't know. It's crazy. The people change their mind every time. Me change the time, he change the time. It's difficult to think about the another mind. So about me, the question is.
Como é que essa pandemia está afetando?
The pandemic is no difficult to me because I have one gym. I can close the gym, but I can train inside there. So I can try. I can train in my house. I can train in another place. In my city is normal. The pandemic is normal. Very low the virus, the cases, but I can train normal.
All right. Thank you for the time, Patricky. Good luck the rest
Sure,
of the week.
sure.
We are now being joined by Leandro Higo. We'll begin with a few questions from the media. Steve, your line is now live.
Thank you. And Leandro, I heard before your fight with Sean Bunch that your Bellator contract was coming due for renewal. So how important was it for you to get that win and to get an impressive finish in the win?
Fala a importância da sua última luta contra Sean Bunch, porque foi a última luta no seu contrato, e fala a importância dessa vitória e vitória com highlight finish.
Foi muito importante, né? Tava vindo de 2 derrotas, né? Tava um pouco pressionado por conta das 2 derrotas que eu sofri as 2 derrotas, uma derrota para o Calderon, outra para o Pico. Foi muito importante fechar meu contrato com a finalização e sobre um grande nome aqui dos Estados Unidos. E isso aqui já ficou para trás e agora o novo Leandro tá surgindo.
So it was real important for me to get a victory over one of a big name in the U.S. In Sean Bunch, and I was coming off 2 losses against some of Bellator's best, and Darren Caldwell and Aaron Pico, and it was very important for me to get back on the right track and against a big name like Sean Bunch, and here we are now.
And speaking of people fighting the best of the best, it is a similar situation with Ricky Bandejas, where he had back-to-back losses to Patrick Mix and Juan Archuleta. So it seems like you guys are both fighting the best. How does it feel to now be fighting each other?
Que vocês lutavam contra dois dos melhores dentro do Bellator, e ele está bem lutando Archuleta e Patrick Mix também. Então, vocês já lutou os melhores de todos os melhores. Como está sentindo agora vocês competindo?
Não tô com pressão alguma, porque eu sempre luto com os melhores. Desde o começo da minha carreira eu venho lutando contra os melhores. E melhor ainda lutar com um grande nome, que meu nome vai ficar mais forte.
Yeah, I've been fighting the best of the best since my first day in Bellator. I fought for the title, and I've been fighting at the top of Bellator since the day one. And there's nothing to worry about with whoever my opponent is. I'm here to be the best, and you guys will see that on Thursday.
Donna, your line is now live.
Hey, Leandro, Donna Corby here. The first question I wanted to ask was about Ricky Bandejas himself. This is a fight that I've been calling for, a lot of people have been calling for. Do you think that obviously you fought champions, you fought Darren Caldwell, of course you fought Aaron Pico as well. Is Ricky, though, one of the toughest tests of your career?
Você lutou contra os melhores. Você acha que Ricky Bandejas é dos exames mais casca grossa na sua carreira?
Nunca. Já lutei com caras bem mais fortes, bem mais preparados que o Bandeja. O Bandeja é um grande atleta, mas não chega nos pés dos caras que eu já lutei.
No, I fought the best of the best, and those guys have shown how good they are, and Ricky doesn't present the same as some of those champions that I fought. He doesn't hold a candle to them.
Eric, is that you back there?
That is me.
I want to hear both of your opinions on this one. What did you think of James Gallagher the other night?
O que você acha de James Gallagher outra noite?
Rapaz, eu lutaria com James Gallagher nos dois. Cara, James Gallagher, ele colocou numa entrevista que lutaria com qualquer um do Bellator. Depois dessa minha vitória de terça-feira, eu quero ver se ele vai lutar contra qualquer um mesmo, de verdade.
He said that after that victory, he said he wants to fight anybody in the division. I want to see after my victory on Thursday if he's willing to be a man of his word.
What do you think, Eric?
I think for the easiest fight in the division for Leandro Higo would be James Gallagher. I'd prefer a title shot, but those guys got something for each other. So anytime the Pitbull brothers goes against SVG, you're going to see a massacre, and that's always good for TV.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you. Thank you very much, bro.
Connor, your line is now live.
Hi, Leandro. How you doing?
Go ahead, Connor.
Okay. The last fight, you shared a card with Patricio. Now you get to share the card with Patricky. How much does it impact you knowing that you're sharing the card with Patricky this time around?
A última vez você compartilhou, lutou com Patrícia no mesmo evento e agora Patrick. Fala sobre esse impacto nesta vez você lutar no mesmo card de Patrick.
Isso aí a gente ia lutar no mesmo card, tava escalado para Dublin, mas alguns problemas não deu certo e a gente está sendo escalado aqui no mesmo evento. Sempre onde os Pitbull Brothers vão lutar, o impacto vai ser grande porque é sinal que vai ser selvageria. Selvageria, só que é isso? Selvagem. Brutal.
Selvagem?
Sim.
Tá, okay. So we were scheduled to actually fight on the same card in Dublin on our planned invasion of Conor McGregor's team, SVG. But because of COVID-19, everything was moved around, and we're fighting again just on the same card, but not against those same opponents. And it's always good to fight on the same card as the Pitbull brothers because it's the savagery becomes present during fight week.
Yes. And you talk about COVID. Obviously, that has set a lot of fighters back, but you haven't fought for over a year now. What has been your biggest takeaway from that year away from the cage?
Por causa da Covid, você não lutou em um ano agora. Mas o que você aprendeu esse ano fora do jaula, fora do octagon grade?
Sim, aprender a esperar, ter paciência e que tudo vai acontecer no momento certo, na hora certa.
I've learned to wait and wait for the right moment, and everything's going to happen at the right time. That's what I learned.
We have time for one or two more. Cris Santiago, go ahead.
Hi, Leandro. Bantamweight division is stacked, like I said earlier in my interviews. But we have Brett Johns, Sergio Pettis, Juan Archuleta. Is there a dream fight that you're looking forward to in the bantamweight division right now?
Qual luta você queria mais? Luta dos seus sonhos nessa divisão?
Minha luta dos meus sonhos sempre vai ser a do cinturão, né? Eu trabalho todos os dias para ser o campeão. E eu creio que depois dessa luta eu tô um passo a mais na divisão para poder disputar esse título.
So my dream fight is always about being the world champion. So whoever's got the belt, that's what I work for every day of my career is to become a world champion. And so that's always going to be my dream fight. And after this Thursday, I'm going to be one step closer to making that dream come true.
Muito obrigado.
Obrigado, ele falou.
Sim.
And our final question here comes from Lenny March. Lenny, your line is live.
How's it going, Leandro? How are you?
How are you?
I'm fine. And you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. So you've been fighting since 2006 and you've fought all over the world in the Ultimate Fighter, in your native Brazil, RFA, LFA, the list goes on. And now finally we're at Bellator. What would it mean for you to get the belt and become world champion in Bellator?
Você lutou em todos os eventos, todo mundo, e se você ganha o título mundial, o que isso vai significar para você?
Legado.
Legend. I've become a legend.
Os eventos que eu participei, eu fui campeão.
I've been champion in every organization that I've entered, and this would add to that legendary career. This would be the cherry on top.
Yeah, in your last fight, you snapped a 2-fight loss streak. How important was it for you to get back on track and get back in that win column?
A última luta você venceu, depois vendo de 2 derrotas. Foi a importância dessa vitória?
Tirou peso bastante grande das minhas costas, né? Vindo de 2 derrotas. E me levou para um caminho diferente, né? Mudou a água e creio que eu vou permanecer muito tempo nesse caminho da vitória, onde eu mereço estar.
So it was a lot of weight that was taken off my back by winning the last fight of having to win the last fight of the contract. That way, I could evolve now into the new fighter that I'm going to show you come this Thursday.
Great. Thank you so much for the time, Leandro, and thank you as well, Eric. Good luck the rest of the week. Eric, would you like to show the camera what you got on there? Very nice. We are now being joined by Mandel Nallo.
Hello.
We'll begin with a few questions from the media here. Steve, your line is now live.
Mandel, thank you for the time today. We already had Saad Awad on the call a little earlier, and when I asked him about you as an opponent, he said, well, he's tall, he's good looking, and that's about it. So it's a compliment, but it's also a little bit of a backhanded compliment. So how do you respond to that?
I think he's wrong. I mean, my Sherdog clearly states that I'm 5'10", and as you can see, I'm not that great looking. So if he's wrong about those two things, then he's probably wrong about the rest.
All right. How bad was your leg injury with Kilis Moita last year? How have you prepared and come back from that?
Oh, it was fine. It was the acute foot drop. So you can't lift your foot. You've seen it happen a bunch of times. It happened to, most notably, I think, Michael Chandler a little while back when he lost the belt here at Bellator. And, you know, you roll your ankle is basically the main issue. And once you're over that, you're good.
All right. And finally, for me, what kind of statement are you looking to make with a win on Thursday?
I guess a statement. I don't know. My fights kind of speak for themselves. It doesn't really matter what kind of statement you make if you win a fight. So yeah, just a win. I'm not trying to make any statements.
Jay Anderson.
Hey, thanks very much. And Mandel, welcome back. I did speak to Saad earlier in the week and got a little more out of him than you're just handsome and tall. One of the things that he said is, I mean, you come from a good camp, and he doesn't believe Firas is going to let you stand in front of him. He's too good at game planning for that. I'm not expecting you to give any secrets away, but what is the approach to a guy like Awad who just flat out comes to fight and loves fighting?
Yeah, a guy like that is you're kind of lucky to fight him because he's fought so many times. You know stuff about him. The game plan, as with every opponent, is to eliminate the things that you think they can do well against you specifically. You know, so that's it. There's no real specifics that I can get into. I mean, just because fights don't really play out the way you expect them to. So yeah, just work on stuff the guy's good at, and you should be all right.
And, you know, speaking of TriStar, I mean, how big is it to be there, to see guys like GSP, who's, you know, as far as I know, still going to the gym? How much of an impact has that had on you?
Early days, it was huge. I mean, obviously that was the draw to go there. And since I've been there now 10 years plus, it's very inspiring and encouraging to see guys that you every day think are, you know, some of the best guys in the world, and you're essentially one of them because you're there every day with them.
Does it take a while to kind of get that feeling that I belong, this is my home, I am one of them?
Yeah, for sure. You always kind of have that, you know, apprentice mentality in a place like TriStar. But at the end of the day, you hit all the sparrings in the week and every training in the week, and you're competitive with the guys there. You just kind of form that opinion of yourself.
All right. Best of luck on Thursday.
Thank you.
Donna?
Mandel, tell me, did you have any trepidations about fighting during the current worldwide scenario we're in at the moment?
No, I don't. I mean, I've been telling everybody, I just feel lucky to have a fight and be able to work. That's it for me. I mean, outside of that, no. I'm just no, it doesn't stress me out that much.
Have you been happy with how things have been since you've come into the Bellator bubble in Connecticut?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, it's been, as far as I know, super safe. I wish I had you could move around more. That's how safe it's been. So yeah, it's been great.
Obviously, Saad is your most experienced opponent. Is he the kind of guy that you wanted coming back from the year layoff? Were you kind of asking Bellator, give me these tough challenges?
I think that once you sign to a big promotion like Bellator, that's what's going to come your way. So I wasn't expecting anything less. And of course, I didn't know what kind of matchup I was going to be offered. And when we heard about this one, this is I thought it was amazing. So yeah, I guess to a degree I was hoping for it.
Thank you, buddy.
Luis Morales.
Hi, I have two questions for you. Coming after your first professional loss, how different are you entering into this fight?
So yeah, not too different. I mean, maybe my outlook has changed as far as what you can expect to happen minute or second to second in a fight. But outside of that, you know, my approach hasn't changed much as far as training or my life or anything like that.
Talking about unusual nicknames, you have one for sure. Why did you choose yours?
It kind of happened by accident, honestly. It's an Instagram handle, and then because I don't really post my face on there, people would ask me, "Hey, are you Rat Garbage?" And then, you know, people seem to like that name, so it stuck. But I didn't really choose it.
Our final question comes from the line of Ben Allen. Go ahead, Ben.
Hi, Mandel. So you're going to be taking on Saad Awad, who is maybe on a bit of a poor run of form at the moment, but is certainly a very established name in the Bellator lightweight division. Where do you think a victory over him puts you amongst the division?
I think it puts me right in there. I mean, a guy who has a record as long as his, a patch of 4 losses could happen anywhere, and it really doesn't mean much. So I think he's still very relevant in the division, and beating him makes me relevant in the division.
And just one more from me. Someone previously just touched upon your nickname, which is incredibly unique, and the Instagram page. I just got to ask, do you make that art yourself? And do you have a personal vendetta against rats or something?
No, I have an appreciation for rats. But yeah, I make that stuff myself.
Cool.
All right, Mandel. Thank you very much for the time, and good luck the rest of the week.
Thank you very much.
We are now being joined by Jaleel Willis. We'll begin with a few questions from the media here. Phoenix, your line is now live.
Hey, Jaleel, you probably remember me from the LFA. It's Phoenix Carnivale. Proud of you, bro. It's really great to see you in Bellator. This is a very big step up in competition. Can you talk about what it was like when you found out about this matchup?
It was an honor to get the matchup, but it wasn't a surprise, especially after Vinicius. I knew that it was only the beginning. I knew the challenges was only about to get greater from here, and I was well prepared for it. And like I said, it wasn't much of it was a surprise about the name, but the caliber of fighter wasn't much of a surprise at all. I knew that I was going right into the mix, you know.
I remember when we used to talk back in the day, you had always talked about it was really important for you to have your self-confidence going into fights, knowing that the promotion believes in you this much to give you such a step up in competition. You must really be feeling that confidence right now.
Oh yeah, so much. It's like when I got the fight, it blew me away, and I knew, I was like, man, they see something, the same thing that my coaches see, the same thing that I see. And I'm happy that it's a situation where they trust me and trust that I'm capable to come out and get the job done, because I know I can, and my coaches, we all know I can. So it's all just like a great feeling to see that your hard work is being noticed.
How do you approach a fight with somebody who has so much experience? What do you think round one will look like?
I think round one will look like a young dude out there with a veteran, what I mean? Like, I ain't ashamed to say it, I might look a little slow, same way I told them with Vinicius, man, I might come out a little wobbly, like on like some Bambi legs, but one thing that's great about me is the way I adapt with each second to the fight. So, the longer I'm in there, the worse it is. And I see that first round being situational where it's kind of like a chess match, but if I see that I have my opening, I'm definitely going to take it. And I see, he get too excited, I'm going to make sure I capitalize on that as well.
Gareth?
Good evening from London, Jaleel. I really admire your honesty in the way you talk about your fighting skills, and you're a young fighter, a native leaving the village for his rite of passage almost. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, sir, I'm the realest.
Yeah, in a way, is our sport's really nice, isn't it? That you come up as a youngster and you're able just to go in there against someone. If you beat him, you make a name for yourself. The sport's really good in that way, isn't it?
Yes, sir. It's amazing in that way, and that's why I'm happy to be here in this sport. It's like I said, the way I came into this sport, some may see it was an accident, but I don't think it was no accident. I was built on, pressure. I was built on high intense moments like this. That's what made me and got me here.
Is that your entire life, you mean, as well, not just fighting?
Yes, sir. My entire life.
Well, I look forward to meeting you and doing your whole story when we've got an hour to sit down, because it sounds amazing. Can I also finally ask, in a weird way, he fights a certain way and doesn't really fight very differently. And I think Ryan Scope showed that in Newcastle a little bit, that there's a way to beat him. Someone's almost created that blueprint. And do you work off those kind of things?
Of course, work off everything I can possibly get. Even though I'm aware that he's aware of these same, blueprints as well. So it may be a situation where he come in and maybe tweak a little bit, but the holes are still there, and they're going to be new holes and same patterns that I feel is going to be there as well through our fight.
Well, if everyone on this call is not excited about this fight, they are crazy. Look, can't wait to see you fight. It'd be brilliant.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Donna?
Hey, Jaleel, how's it going? I wanted to ask a little bit about the whole situation we're in the world at the moment and taking fights. You've obviously fought during this pandemic already. What have the differences been between when you fought in the LFA and your time in the Bellator bubble so far? And at any point were you trepidatious about taking fights?
No, I wasn't. I was. If I can get the fight, I want to fight, and if I can be healthy, I'm gonna make sure I'm healthy, and I go through all the normal protocols here to make sure that I'm cleared and my team is cleared as well. With that being said, it's not too much of a difference from the LFA bubble, like LFA had things pretty, locked down as well and made sure we was all tested and we wasn't, really outside of this bubble and had everything needed. Like, I guess I can say it's more so of just probably a little bit more comfortable here,
Mm-hmm. And Patricky Pitbull is the kind of guy who, if you come in and beat him, which obviously is the intent this Thursday night, you're immediately in contention in the division. That's an exciting prospect for you, isn't it?
Yeah. And one thing about it, man, it's like I believe after this fight, people gonna see I'm a contender, either way. You know what I mean? It's like that's one thing I'm here to show. I'm here to show that I'm not no easy fight, and I ain't backing down from nobody. You know what I mean? I'm here to stay.
Are you confident of your ability to stand in front of him and trade?
Oh yeah. But come on, man. It's like man, I don't fear nobody but God, bro. I don't fear no man but God. So and I'm here to fight, bro. And I'm here to take care of business, man. I got a real family, and same way he got a real family, man. We ain't here to play around. And I ain't, I ain't some bum coming in, for a paycheck either, bro. I'm here to fight, man. This is my stuff.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Jay Anderson.
Hey, thanks very much. Just one from me. You actually fought in Bellator once before years ago, and 4 years later, is there a different feeling coming in this time in terms of both where the promotion is at and where you're at in your career?
Man, it's only different feeling is that I told you so feeling to myself, kind of, you know what I mean? It's like when I was on that undercard and I was meeting like Kendall Grove and Bobby Lashley and stuff like that. I was meeting all them folks, and I'm seeing how they was up there and how they was professionals. And when I was there, man, I wanted to kind of work off of it. And every time I done seen Bellator come down to the South before, I was always kind of like, a fly on the wall for like the behind the scenes stuff, like Tito come through the gym, stuff like that, get his workout in. Michael Chandler came through, King Mo. You know what I mean? So I was always like a fly on the wall, just kind of like knew that it was like I was gonna be here. And I guess like the difference is like everybody was saying UFC, but it's like me, it's more so like I told you so. I knew it was gonna be Bellator, you know what I mean?
All right, well, welcome back.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Ben Allen.
Hi, Jaleel. So it's been a crazy couple of months for you. So obviously became LFA champion. A month or so later, signed for Bellator, and then just 3 or so weeks later, you're making your debut. What's your take on how the speed at which these things have moved? Has this been as fast for you as it has for us?
It's my take on it is more so of like I knew that things was gonna come at me fast, once I got stuff rolling, once me and my team got things rolling, especially with me being active in 2020, with the whole pandemic and stuff like that. There's a lot of people who can't get fights. So me, I was like, I'm willing to take fights and, do what I got to do. So with that meant a quick turnaround, I was okay with it. Like I'm healthy and stuff like that. I don't see no reason to sit back and, just kind of ice myself and just wait a little bit long. I'm only getting older, man. I'm trying to, fight as much as I can, shine as much as I can. I still got a long way to go in this, you know what I mean?
And why did you choose to sign for Bellator? Because I'm sure you had a few other offers on your table.
Oh, UFC was definitely on the table, man. Side thing is, I was blown away with Bellator's offer,
Steve Jewin.
Jaleel, thank you for the time today. If I can sum up what Patricky told us earlier in the call, he said, I go out there to finish every time, all the time. I'm always looking for the finish. He goes out there looking for the decision. I don't know that that's really an accurate statement because you've got 5 knockouts, but what's your take?
Hey, my take is he see what he see. He say what he said. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But, I go out there looking to finish fights, It's just a situation to where I'm like, I ain't afraid to really be in that fight, you know what I mean? It's like, if I see an opening, I'm going to go take it. But, I'm not going to shy away from a situation to where it's like, it might not be there. It might take another 3-4 minutes in here to really wear them down. And I'm more so cool with putting on a clinic and, really showing, that I'm capable of going all three and dominating all three as well. So my take on it would be like, it's decision fights, but they unanimous decisions. I don't got no split decisions. If you can go back and look, they've all been like, straight up one-sided, victories. So, it is what it is.
I feel you on that. And in fact, you say it's 3 rounds, but in your last fight with Vinicius, you went 5 rounds. So you've got to feel like your cardio is well up to par for this fight.
Yeah, see, and that was my first 5-round fight, And it's like, and it was the same way. I was thinking, I was like, damn, like I used to go out here and I'm a decision fighter. What am I gonna do when we go into those 4th and 5th round? Man, that 4th round came around. My coach came inside the cage. I was like, yo, I'm like, bro, I'm about to be a world champion. Cause I knew, I'm like, bro, this is just 3 rounds. I'm like, bro, I can go 4 and 5 more rounds just like that. So it is what it is, man. He go out there looking for that finish. Like I said, he get excited, man. He gonna be in for a rude awakening, man.
Our final question here comes from the line of Luis Morales. Go ahead, Luis.
Hi, how do you feel in your return to the lightweight division? Do you have plans to return to the welterweight division, or do you want to stay in lightweight division?
I'm kind of like welcoming all. It's like welterweight. It's a easy cut for me, but I feel like I'm more so like pretty small for welterweight. And I actually like competing at lightweight quite a bit. So I guess I would say lightweight would be, my division.
All right, Jaleel, thank you very much for the time and good luck the rest of the week.
Thank you, sir.
We are now being joined by Arlene Blencowe. Blencowe, apologies. Our first question comes from the line of Jay Anderson. Jay, your line is now live.
Hey, thanks very much. And Arlene, welcome back. Congratulations on the opportunity. And I got to start with the obvious. I mean, so many fighters have tried and failed against Cris Cyborg. What's the key to you being successful where those others have failed?
So many people have tried and failed, but not all of them. I feel like there's obviously things that have been exposed in more recent times. Hopefully I can also expose them.
So did you take a look at that Nunes fight as a blueprint? Do you feel that that maybe also shattered the mystique that Cyborg had in the featherweight division?
Oh, definitely. At the end of the day, she's human. She's very, like, she is beatable. In saying that, like going back to the Nunes fight, like when you watch it, it really could have gone one of two ways. They were both swinging and all it would have taken was for one of Cyborg's punches to land on Amanda. So yeah, it really is a shame that a rematch wasn't like happened between the two of those. I think that would have been an interesting fight, but it did show that she was beatable. Something that no one else has done. So yeah, I take definitely comfort in that. But I always said that was a way to beat her, was just to put it back on her, I guess. So it'll be exciting on Thursday.
And last one for me. I mean, preparing for a title fight is a tough job at the best of times. We're not in the best of times. We're in a pandemic. We've seen all sorts of restrictions in terms of social distancing and closures, everything else. What has camp been like for you for this fight?
We've been lucky. There was a period there where like all the gyms were closed in Australia, which meant that we couldn't go to our gyms and do our training session. As I just said in another interview, I am lucky that I've got a setup at home, which allowed me to keep training. But I've been able to, like, it's been a good 3 months now that the gyms have been open back up. So all's been back to normal for me in a sense. So I've had a very, very solid camp. It took on a lot of help from other gyms and had more training partners come on board. And I was pushed very, very hard this fight camp.
Donna?
Arlene, I'll admit I'm guilty of this as well. But on this media call with Cris earlier, there have been a lot of questions about other people, Katie Taylor, Amanda Nunes, not a huge amount about Arlene Blencowe. Do you feel you're being overlooked in this fight?
I'm kind of glad that I am being overlooked, really, because it's making all the odds back at home for people that are putting money on me. I know that, the odds are against me, but all the greatest success that I've had in my life, in my fight career, has come from me being an underdog. And, us Aussies are known to be battlers, and we strive, we thrive, I should say, as underdogs. And I think I'm going to shock the world on Thursday night.
You mentioned Aussies being fighters, and of course there's a lot going on in Australia at the moment with these lockdowns and everything else. Was there a chance maybe that this fight wasn't going to happen, or that you would have to do it in some other place, or was it easy enough for you to get to the States for this?
I was lucky. I mean, we had to do apply for travel exemptions and that, and I feel very, very I am very, very grateful that, obviously I was granted them, because, there's a lot of people, and the world is a crazy place at the moment, and people have been denied travel rights to, attend funerals and bigger things in life. And I feel like, obviously fighting for a world title is a very, very big thing, and it's a big thing in my life, but, not to be able to do travel at the moment for a funeral, that to me is, a lot worse. So grateful. I am also thinking that, the fight this year being allowed to happen is awesome too, because I thought this year was just going to be a complete write-off, that 2020 was just going to be a year of growth and training, and that when the world goes back to normal, or what form of normal will be, next year would happen. But stoked that it's happening this year.
Gareth?
Good evening, Arlene. London calling. Hi. I was with Leah McCourt, the Bellator featherweight, on Saturday night in Paris at the event, and we both feel this is that, and Leah, I'll use Leah's words, that Arlene really needs to impose herself early in the fight as well. And you are a very imposing person and fighter. Is that really important, that you get Cyborg's respect early in the fight?
Definitely. And I, as I said in another interview, she senses fear, and she feeds on and thrives off that. So if she sees that I'm on the back foot, or, in danger, or she can smell fear on me, she's going to jump on that. And I guess she's also got a point to prove too. This is her first title defense, so she's going to want to get in there and get the job done, probably pretty early too. It's a 5-round fight. I know that, as the rounds go on, she will start to wear. So, it's very, very important that I, state my dominance in that fight early on.
And is it important in another way? Obviously, your ring sobriquet, or your cage sobriquet, anger fist, we know what that means. That we know you're heavy-handed as well. Is it, timing always beats speed, beats brawling, doesn't it? And I wonder whether you seem like you want to really enjoy the moment, in a sense, and I don't mean that in a masochistic way, but in a way that if you stay calm, you've got the tools to be able to do it in the exchanges.
Yeah, definitely. If I showed that in my last fight with Leslie. yeah, it's just a matter of, hitting and moving and waiting for opportunity. Not every punch, as my coaches say to me, not every punch has to be a hard punch. So, it's just, hitting and moving and setting your punches up. And obviously everyone knows that boxing is my background, and, obviously be relying heavily on that in this fight too. I feel like my boxing craft is more dominant than hers. Hopefully it'll show.
Happy boxing and moving on Thursday night. I wish you the very best.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Connor.
Hey, Arlene, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Thanks for asking. Just from like your social media, I mean, it seems like you've really been enjoying the whole process of fight week and the lead up to the fight. Is this any different approach from the last time you had a Bellator fight? Just trying to maybe enjoy that process a little more?
It's something that we've focused on a little bit more, in the last year or so. I suppose it's always been a year since I fought now anyway. It's just about enjoying it. It's no secret. I'm getting called a grandma on social media. Bellator has some terrible, horrible fans with their comments, but, the soccer mum, this and that, it's no secret. I'm 37 years old. So, I don't say I'm at the end of my career, but I'm definitely at the peak of my career. But, in the coming years, I will be slowing up and, finishing my career. So it's these moments like, far out, I'm fighting for the Bellator world title against Cris Cyborg. That's huge. So why am I not enjoying it? So I'm lucky that, my partner's super supportive, and he's just, through the grueling parts of fight camp where I'm sore, I'm tired, early mornings, late nights, this and that. He's like, enjoy this part. And I have. So for the most part, enjoying being in the gym with my training partners and, them helping me and pushing me, because, in 10 years time, I won't have that. I'll look back and go, I remember the days when I did this, or remember the days that I flew over to America and fought for Bellator and had, the whole world watching me. So yeah, why am I not here enjoying it? So yeah, obviously it's a big fight. There's a lot of, there's a lot of pressure there, this and that, but this is what I do. I'm a fighter, and I'm here, I'm enjoying it.
Ben Allen.
Hey, Arlene. So Cyborg's been pretty much carrying the torch for female featherweight since before you even made your pro MMA debut. Yep. So is it fair to say that you've had your eye on this particular fight for your entire career? And if so, how does it feel now the moment's finally come?
For sure. I remember watching Cris. It was her return to the cage after her suspension. She fought another Australian girl, Fiona Muxlow, in the Invicta cage. And I'm pretty sure that's the same card that Rose Namajunas fought. She did the flying armbar. I might have to, don't quote me on that. But I just remember watching these girls. So I was actually in camp, and it was a week out from my first MMA fight, my first ever MMA fight, which was a professional fight because I was already a professional boxer. And these girls came in, and then Cris fought, and I was just like, wow. She just blew me away, because I thought she was just aggressive and she was dominant and she was everything that I wanted to be in the cage. She's been at the top of the ranks ever since. And every fighter should be obviously aiming to fight the best, and she's always been there in my sights. And I've just been climbing those ranks, and to be able to sit here and fight her on the Bellator promotion for the Bellator world title means a lot. And I'm just glad that's happening here. Obviously, the fact that she came over from the UFC, I'm stoked that I feel like she's come to my grounds because I've been here now for almost 6 years, signed with Bellator. This has been my home for a long time now, and this is where my home will continue to be, and I'll be staying here until the end of my career.
And as you alluded to earlier, you come from a pro boxing background, and I know MMA is a very different sport, but Cyborg is obviously an accomplished striker in her own right. How do you think your stand-up matches up with hers?
I think my boxing, my hands, are more precise. Speed, obviously. I think I've got more technically faster hands and more precision. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like in there. You don't have to hit someone hard with those 4-ounce gloves. So hopefully on Thursday night, I can demonstrate how good my boxing hands are. Hit and don't be hit, as they say.
Mark?
Thank you, Arlene. I mean, I've been covering you since early in your career, and just to see your career kind of blossom, as it were. You had a little bit of a rocky start there for the beginning, but it seems like you're really coming into your own right now. Can you tell me a little bit about the personal growth that you've had as a fighter from the beginnings of MMA to now?
Yeah, definitely. So I started MMA as a side sport to my pro boxing career. I was a world title holder for boxing and wasn't getting any opponents. So I started doing MMA as a side sport and, copped a few losses because I had no wrestling background, no, BJJ background or anything like that. So in my first year, I'd had 8 fights and, it was super busy. So, was learning on the trot. And unfortunately, like I said before, I didn't have an amateur background. So my losses were going on my record. So up until I was signed with Bellator, I was actually taking it as a side sport. And, when I got signed to Bellator, my record was 5-4. So, and that's another reason why I have been so loyal to the Bellator promotion, was because they gave me that shot and that opportunity on the world stage when, these other big promotions, another big promotion in particular, wouldn't give me a shot. And, that's why they deserve my loyalty, because I've sat here and I've worked hard over, the last 6 years and I've fixed that record. Just obviously turned my side sport into my main sport and got serious with it and concentrated on fixing my weaknesses, which was obviously my wrestling and my BJJ. And I feel like I'm a very well-rounded fighter now, and that's showing. And that's why, my record has obviously improved to 13-7.
Now, you've been with Julia Budd for 2 five-rounders, and, both of them were really close fights. How's that helping you out? Because, I don't think a lot of people are realizing that you've had that experience in a title fight. How's that helping you prepare for the Cyborg fight?
Oh, well, yeah, that's it. Julia was a world champion and a dominant world champion for a very long time, up until, obviously she just lost at the beginning of the year. So the fact that I went 5 rounds with her and, it was a split decision. So it was super close. And she's a strong, athletic fighter. So that I take a lot of comfort in that, knowing that what I did in that fight camp in preparation for it compared to what I've done for this fight camp is, chalk and cheese. So I know that I'm more than ready to go 5 rounds at, with Cris, if it goes to that.
We'll take a few more questions here. Lenny March.
How's it going, Arlene?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, so you're fighting without a crowd this Thursday. If this is the first for you, how do you think you will feel this Thursday, sorry?
Well, it'll be interesting, that's for sure. I'm just sort of taking it, I think, for the most part, it will affect Cris more than it will me. She's used to fighting in big crowds and, obviously having big fan base and this and that. So if anything, it's probably going to benefit me because I'll be able to hear my coaches clearer and, not have random comments in the crowd that might, get into my head. I seem to always manage to hear the few comments that will be like, oh, she's hurt or something. And I think to myself, no, I'm not hurt. But just silly, that which might take my focus away from the fight. So at least I'll just be completely focused on Cris, hearing my corners' voices and, getting that job done and, going home and celebrating with my family and friends when I'm out of quarantine in Australia.
Yeah, you said that earlier that she's going to tire in the later rounds. That kind of stood out to me because it felt like you wanted to maybe take the fight to the championship rounds. Is that what you're going to try and do this Thursday?
Well, it's always risky to do that too, because if you're sort of holding out, waiting for the championship rounds, you've got to make sure that you're also sort of on top for the first 3 rounds. I don't want to be chasing tail in the 4th and 5th. So, it's hard to say. Like I said before, it's MMA. The pace might be set early. It might be a fast pace. It might be a slow pace. It's and Cris will be well prepared for everything too, just as I am. I guess we'll just see on Thursday night what happens.
Thank you so much for the time, Arlene. Good luck the rest of the week.
Thank you.
Next up, we'll be joined by Christian Edwards. We are now being joined by Christian Edwards. Please remember to click the raise hand function if you have a question.
Christian, tell us about your fight week.
It's been good so far. It's been a great experience. I love coming out here to the Mohegan Sun, and this is what I've been dreaming of since I was a little kid. So I'm feel good. I'm ready to perform on Thursday.
How have preparations been going?
Good. I've just been training and getting ready and preparing for a hell of a fight. Hamza Salimi's a tough guy, and I've just been doing everything I can to make sure I give the best performance I can.
Now, you've already mentioned your opponent, but tell us what you see in his fighting style that may pose a challenge for you.
I noticed that he is a very kick-heavy guy, and he likes to throw a lot of kicks. And I don't think that it poses much of a threat, but I'm definitely going to be ready for it at the same time. I'm not overlooking him by any means. And I feel like this is going to be a good stylistic matchup for me. I feel like it really plays in my favor.
We'll now take some questions from the media. Ben?
Hey, Christian. So your last fight saw you go the distance for the first time in your career after blowing through a lot of your opponents. How did it feel going the whole 15 minutes?
Felt great, man. Honestly, I was just talking to Rich, the matchmaker, a few hours ago, and I was telling him that this is honestly, I mean this with all my heart. That's the funnest fight I've had out of all three of my fights for Bellator so far, just because it was fun knowing that I can go that full 15 minutes, and I got to showcase all of my skills, my grappling, my striking, my wrestling, all of it in one fight, and it was, it's a good feeling getting a knockout with a head kick or a punch or whatever, but it's good knowing that I have that capability in me to push a good pace for a whole 15 minutes.
And you're about to go into your fourth professional fight, all of which have come underneath the Bellator banner. How do you feel about the fact that you've sort of developed in the cage under a major promotion as opposed to a lot of guys who have done it on the more regional circuit?
Yeah, I feel like it's had a huge part to do with not just the fact that I train with the greatest gym in the world, but the people that I have surrounded, that I'm surrounded by at that gym. Dontel Mays, who's in the UFC, Devin Clark, who's in the UFC, Juan Adams, who, was on the Contender Series and the UFC. I have all those people in my ears telling me the right things that I need to hear so I don't, freak out when it comes to showtime. Even in my pro debut, I was, surrounded by those guys. So I knew what to expect going into that, and it wasn't intimidating to me. It was actually exciting.
Just one more from me. So if you score your fourth win in Bellator on Thursday night, what do you want next? Are there any particular names in the division that interest you?
Honestly, I'm going to trust that my manager is, going to be on top of his game when it comes to getting me the right fights. But of course, I think I can hang with the best in the division. And, if, my manager and the matchmaker feels like I'm ready for, a top 10 guy, or not even a top 10, just a real contender, somebody who's, relatively known in Bellator, then I'm ready for that, because I can hang with those guys and I can beat those guys, I believe, genuinely.
Donna?
Hey, Christian, how's it going? In terms of fighting during the whole pandemic or whatever that we're in at the moment, did you have any concerns about stepping into the cage, about going and fighting at the moment, or were you happy to do it at the first chance?
I was honestly so excited to, when Bellator started doing events again, I was excited because I knew for a fact that they were going to hit me up sooner or later, because even if there is a pandemic going on right now, I'm still going to take the chance I can to, perform and put on a show because it's not, for a while there wasn't any other sports going on but MMA, and when Bellator started doing events again, I was just excited to be able to, compete and do something, for the people that like to watch competitive sports, so it's a good feeling knowing that we're back in business and doing events again.
Of course, you're 3-0. You haven't had a great deal, aside from your last fight with Marco Hutch, you haven't had a great deal of time in the cage, be it in the pro or amateur ranks. Are you happy with the speed at which Bellator are building you? Sometimes maybe guys have been pushed a little too quickly, then perhaps there have been other guys who've maybe been put on the slow burn for too long and it's come back to hurt them. Are you happy with the speed at which things are working for you in Bellator?
No, I'm definitely happy with that. I think that they have really been, like trying their best to, get me good fights, and not just, like good fights, but challenging fights too, to see where I'm at as, like as far as my development goes, and just like how my, stay here in Bellator is going to be, because I think that they're, a little skeptical because, I'm 3-0, as a pro, and I've had all my fights for them. So, of course they're going to be skeptical to give me like a top, like a real contender or like a top 10 guy. But I know my own improvement. I, trust my coaches and I trust my teammates to prepare me in the right way. So, I think that once they finally do give me a real contender or a top 10 guy, they'll see that I'm here to stay and I'm going to make a lasting impression in Bellator.
One more from me, and if you don't want to answer this question, please feel free not to. But as an athlete who's a person of color in America at the moment, of course, there's a lot of pressure for people to use their platform to talk about Black Lives Matter and about diversity issues and things. Do you feel that pressure, and do you feel like you should be making statements on things like that, or do you think that athletes should be allowed to just compete in their sports and not have to worry about it?
Yeah, I don't, like I try not to speak on those things too much when it comes to my sport, because in my sport and just my gym in general where I train at, it's people of all nationalities, people of all religions. We all come together and we all enjoy the same things and we do the same things. So, we bond through what we do, and it's, it's not that I don't care. I'm not saying I don't care, but it's just, I don't experience that type of hate and that type of inequality that's going on in some places. I am aware of it, but I don't experience it myself. So I won't pretend that I do.
Thank you for answering, man.
Of course.
Thank you very much for the time, Christian, and good luck the rest of the week.
Yep. Thank you.
And thank you all as well for joining us. We look forward to having you join us again on Thursday night for Bellator 249.